Now, most people won't recognize who these people are. Only if you're a recovering alcoholic would you maybe recognize this, because in any Al-Anon room, which is where they have AA meetings, like regularly, or, NA meetings, or Alateen, all that different stuff they have, they usually somewhere will have a picture of them, sometimes depending on where it's a big one. They're the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson. Dr. Bob was a surgeon. Bill Wilson was like a CPA or something. But here's the interesting thing. Everybody over the past several years has talked about how horrible the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and it's like, okay. But you need to know something about Rockefeller. He couldn't have been all bad, but he did know what big contributions could do to a good organization. So in the mid-30s, they came together, and they were they were being carried along by the Spirit when they wrote the steps. They did, and they knew they had something that could help, because both of these men had suffered in sanitariums. They were they were full DTs, where there's, like some people, alcoholics, when they stop drinking, they go through withdrawals like tremors and, that kind of thing. These were men that would end up in sanitariums, and God brought them together, and then I think it was in one of their kitchens that they started sitting down writing the 12 steps. So to get this going so that it could help other people, they didn't have any financial backing. And they had been, I think they had, they had just been starting. And Bill Wilson's brother-in-law was an acquaintance to somebody that knew Rockefeller Jr.'s charities. And so they wanted to ask for, a donation, which is so funny because one of their traditions is decline outside contributions. And the reason there's that tradition, because the 12 traditions came in 1946, so way later than the 12 steps did. And one of the contributions, one of the traditions is decline outside contributions. It should be self-supporting. That came from Rockefeller. Because Rockefeller did have, with his billion dollar donors, they had a dinner. Because I hear all these stories about, when people have been researching stuff, that AA is tied to Masonry, and it's like, look, it saved my life and many others. So don't even go down that road, because see, God did something very unique here. They did need help. Rockefeller did have a big dinner at his house with billion-dollar donors. But it was Rockefeller that told them, no, you got something special here. You don't want to be taken. Because the Rockefellers are a philanthropy family, but all these people at this dinner party were. So even just having this dinner party and these billion dollars, people, they would have donated, but Rockefeller's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not gonna screw up the good that this can be. Even Rockefeller recognizing that. Let's not let philanthropy money taint this. However, so they had the dinner party. All these billionaires, obviously know these two. So if they know people that need help, they direct them there. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't get any big donations. However, Rockefeller the next day went and bought 400 Alcoholics Anonymous books and started distributing them to people that might need help. Furthermore, he did actually help them each personally till they got going. But that, so to me, whatever you want to say about Rockefeller, he knew well enough at this party that they had something good here, so good that they just needed, They just needed to know people, and he has this dinner so people can know. The biggest billionaires in New York can know that, this is something special here, but we're not going to give it some donation because, he's right, because I don't think it would still be around today. So he can't be all bad. It's just an interesting story because people lump him into this evil person and, oh, it's all Masonry and it's all Freemasons. Yeah, he hosted a dinner, Rockefeller, in 1940 for the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous and influential New Yorkers. At this dinner, Rockefeller expressed gratitude and support on behalf of his father. He emphasized that Alcoholics Anonymous was a work of goodwill whose power lay in the message being passed from one member to another without thought of financial income or reward. Nelson Rockefeller stated that AA should be financially self-supporting and rely on the goodwill of its supporters, not on outside contributions or fundraising. After this statement, all the wealthy guests, symbolizing, quote, the whole $1 billion worth of them, end quote, left without donating money. Later, it became clear what Rockefeller meant. He personally purchased 400 copies of the AA Big Book, and helped facilitate it publicly to show support that would allow AA to grow and reach others. He believed in the principle that AA's strength lay in mutual support and sharing of experience rather than financial backing. And this went on to influence AA's tradition of declining outside contributions. It just gives me chills because all I've seen is people say Rockefeller's so horrible. He couldn't have been. And then, in 1940, when they did the 12 traditions, they put exactly his quote in there, that AA should always remain self-supporting, declining outside contributions. That was a God at work right at that moment. It was. Because if they would have taken that big money, it wouldn't still be successful today. So Rockefeller just helped them with getting off the ground, but not with some big. And the way he helped them wasn't giving them any big donations. He bought the big book and started passing it around, and I'm sure that's the way his friends, those billionaires, helped too. So I don't care what anybody says. All the years I spent in AA rooms, and it saved my life. That's where God brought me. Then if you want to call that Freemason, then, and I don't see any Freemason in it, but they say that because of the circle and triangle symbol. If that's what you want to call it, then that Freemason system, and I don't believe it was any free wicked system. No, it was God at work. From Rockefeller all the way down. See, God can make miracles work even through billionaires. What do you know?